My name is Tanya Curry, and this is this week's Acumen Media Report. It's entitled Paradise Lost, a South African Story. I bet you didn't miss me. This week flew by. It was agonizing though, so brace yourselves, have antacid to the ready, and let's scratch the surface of a tumultuous week in the media. There were echoes of Zuma's tardiness as the president postponed the cabinet reshuffle. He had a cold. We gave him the weekend to get better, but on Monday he was late. When he finally turned up, an hour and a half late, he looked furious. I was praying for a chopping block, but instead we got 2 additional new ministers, and Lindiwe Medusa Sisulu left the building. That was the good bit. And in fact, I wanted him to do it all over again so that we could relive that moment. TTFN, Lins, ta-ta for now. I'm sure you'll be with Khaki Khan in a minute. With over 300,000 engagements and a negative net sentiment of minus 50%, we were unimpressed. The cabinet reshuffle also brought Zizi Kodwa and Zikalala to the fore. Are you feeling queasy yet? Wait, Becky, leave your hat on. Pele is still at the helm of the rape capital of the world. And if you ask me, what of women and what of youth? Well, there's good news and bad news. And Nkosazana, when People's All-Star Zuma was removed from Kokta. This is amazing news. However, the 74-year-old is now in charge of youth and women. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. The president's tongue is double. So these 2 new ministers, they're both named Ramaphosa. One for the electricity and one for planning and oversight. Hold up. Planning and oversight? Isn't that literally Ramaphosa's only job? Anyway, I would like to take a moment to call for a round of applause for the Minister of Everything. Bakila and Balula, Razbataz, Mbats, Minister FF is officially on our screens more than any news anchor and certainly far more than our president. We see you, Raz, with your funky glasses and flashy suits, a shining example of the ANC. I know, sarcasm is the lowest form of wit. Bite me. This is not democracy, my friends. This is a heist. You see, Paul and Julius are the new Romeo and Juliet. And now we have underestimated Juju. He is a president in waiting. And that means reach for the sick bag as the plane is catapulting to land without any oxygen to keep you placid. The EFF are filled with empty promises. They forgave Zuma a gazillion times, and at the forefront of Julius's narrative for the national shutdown is Ramaphosa must go, coupled with Eskom must work and food prices must fall. Juju also said that if businesses don't close, they will be looted. This while their crew are carrying AK-47s. Just another day of electioneering, another day in paradise. Just think about it. Are the EFF going to turn on the lights? Are they actually going to drop food prices? How? Not even on a red letter day, my friends. This is a grapple for power to drain the last of the country. It does make me marvel at how rich this country actually is, right? I mean, it's like a golden goose that keeps laying even though she is in captivity under gun threat. As for our opposition, dear John, please think twice. The DA, as reluctant as I am to say it, are the only hope, but no one is, by majority, going to vote for a white man again. So we are staring down the barrel of coalition country, and we've all seen how effective that is. Just think about it. The most entertaining story of the week, it has to be Dali Mpofu and the much-anticipated appearance of Professor Advocate Thuli Madonsela. Oh, Prof. Thuli took Udali to school. She was ferocious with that mild manner that she carries so well. She would start her sentence with, "Excuse me, sir."
Yes, sir.
The sir was pronounced with such disdain it made me laugh every single time. She told Dali that she wasn't on trial and that his Trombusi, Madam Makwabani, was. She called his nasty comments about her appearance the lowest of blows, even coming from him.
Shocked beyond measure. But you, as an advocate of the High Court of this country, have taken slurs that have been said to me. A lot of the things that you've said have never been said in Parliament. The one slur about my looks that you have repeated in this record that you yourself have said you envisage to be here for 100 years.
And added that there had been many of those low blows. She's got quite the ego, though, I'll admit to that. But once you hear all the award she's won, I suppose it comes with the territory. Anyway, it was a win for Thuli, and now Dolly wants to bring 2 more witnesses, even after we were told that the process was closed. You see, Madam Bussey doesn't want to get up into the dock. But the chairperson, Dyanti, made mincemeat of this proposal, citing the length of time it has taken to get to this point, and that witness lists were closed a long time ago. We wait for next steps, but it's basically game, set and match now. It's time to hear from Madam. There were 2 massive protests that started and continued throughout the week. One was the Wits protest, where we saw the plight of the ambitious youth have the doors of education barricaded. These are students that are sleeping under their desks because they have no accommodation but are strong-willed and insist on an education. According to Gareth Cliff, that doesn't count. He doesn't care, because they're not his children. His words, not mine. In fact, his words were stronger than that, but I'll spare you because you've been through enough. The Wits protest started quietly and then ended with a rock throwing and a nyala and 2 water tankers. The head of the SRC was arrested, and he wants Dolly to help him. Please, my friend, get one of your aspiring lawyers to assist you. You have no cash and Dolly is useless. You have a cause, though. Zuma promised you free education as he left the room, and now you're being asked for 10,000 rand just to find a bed, let alone put something in your ravenous belly. Sick. But not quite as sick as the next protest. Nahawu hospital strike is one of the worst I've ever witnessed. Shocking and clearly orchestrated, I saw many Nahawu red overalls and no nurses' uniforms in this protest. We watched as the sick and the dying, the old and the young, were being brought by ambulance, only to be confronted by a mob of protesters fighting to keep the suffering on the streets. Some of them died before they made it inside, as doctors barricaded themselves in to save those that they could. In the president's Q&A, he called it murder, and that the essential workers were not allowed to strike. No work, no pay. And what happened to the Hippocratic Oath? The hypocritical oath, more like. How sick is sick? Nahawu on next level. A nurse with a panga attacked an ambulance as others tried to drag a critically ill child from the vehicle. Next level sick. Paradise lost. Let's make this snappy as I'm running out of words. Gwere Mantashe, the one we wanted to see axed in the cabinet reshuffle, is quoted as saying, "Coal corruption is fine. And if we think that it's bad, we should see the corruption in renewables." He said all this on a live podium where anti-coal protesters tried to hijack his speech. He doesn't care, our Pooza face. He just give him the dollars. Speaking of dollars, Palapala came back to bite the president's behind as the Reserve Bank confirmed that they have no record of the transactions of dollars that landed in Cyril's furniture. Cyril the squirrel says that it wasn't for him to declare. Round and round we go. Think twice. Gumede is in court with 20-odd co-accused. Most of them are her family, and it is revealed that there are 170 shelf companies involved in the case of looting a province. She is so arrogant. I wish this court procedure slaps the smug look on her face right into Smugville. There's been no word on the assassination of AKA. Of course not. A 4-year-old died in a pit toilet. This after the deadline passed that was meant to ensure all pit toilets would be removed. Angelo Agrizzi, remember him from the state capture inquiry? The one who fessed up and dropped files like they were landmines? Well, he's off the hook. Indefinitely. Don't ask me how, but he is. There's no water in the East Rand, and Cape Town warns its residents to boil their water before using it. Question. How do we boil water without electricity? Are they handing out gas on the street corner? It was International Women's Day, whatever, and then the story that broke our hearts. The death of South African icon Mark Pilgrim, who, after a brave battle with cancer, left us this week. We love you, Mark. Thank you for giving each of us hope in a tempest.
Good to see you. Good to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
And I'm glad. I have to say right off the bat, I'm so glad the camera's on here because I would have had to have got up at 4 a.m. for my hair. So, you made my life a lot easier.
We'll tell you the first.
To end, I'm going to cheer you up. And if you're an Elon hater, you're going to love this. He walked right into a very bad HR trap. He called out a former employee for not doing his work. And turns out that Hallie, the former employee, has muscular dystrophy. But that doesn't mean his brain doesn't work. He owns a major business based in Iceland that Twitter took over under Musk. Musk promised not to fire Hallie or his staff, but did. Well, actually, he just locked them out of the system without so much as an exit interview. Musk, being Musk, attacked Hallie on Twitter for being a useless employee and asked him a series of questions laced with poison. Hallie explained that to answer those questions, he would have to break an NDA with Twitter, and Elon gave him permission to do so. Over Twitter, our trumpet. Well, Hallie took him to class, and if you read one story this weekend, read this one. Hallie backed Elon into a corner by making it clear he wasn't a mere employee and there was a deal that Elon had contravened, and he wanted his $100 million as dictated in the sale agreement. Elon backpedaled like a Tour de France cyclist on rewind. Ha! That was funny. Be like Hallie. This guy, rather than take Twitter shares, chose the cash so that he could pay his taxes to Iceland. They don't make them like this guy anymore. Smart, humanitarian, and scared of nothing. Think twice. Where's our paradigm? I'm Tanya Curry, and you've just tickled the surface of the news with this week's Acumen Media Report.